All right, so let's get started. Thank you for coming. So we're going to discuss OERs and some textbook alternatives that we have available on campus. The first thing that we're going to discuss is what is open access in general, because some people get open access and OER confused. So open access in general is the free, immediate online availability of research articles coupled with the rights to use these articles in a digital environment. OER are specifically open educational resources that are specifically teaching and learning materials that provide users with free and unfettered access. So OER is for teaching and learning, K through 12 and higher ed, and it relies on the 5 Rs, which we'll look at in a few moments. Open access in general deals with academic publishing. It allows for authors to publish in peer-reviewed journals or self-archive in repositories. So now that we know what OER is, I'm not going to read through all of them, but there's a million different types of OER. We're mostly going to be focusing on textbooks today, but I want you all to realize that there are other things available. So you don't have to dip your toe in by buying a textbook. Maybe you might want to just pick an assignment or find a test or a syllabi that you can model off of. So there's a lot of different materials available. The 5 Rs of OER, I mentioned that before. The first is reuse. Reusing means that content can be reused in its unaltered original format. The right to use the content in a wide range of ways, a class, study group, on a website, in a video. And then the second is retain. So copies of content can be retained for personal archives or reference, the right to make, own, and control copies of the content. So you could download, duplicate, store, and manage them. You have the right to revise them. Content can be modified or altered to suit your specific needs. I think sometimes people are a little nervous about doing this, but this is one of the beauties of OER. You can revise it, adapt it, adjust it, modify it to suit your own needs in your classroom. You can remix it so it can be adapted with other similar content to create something new. So you can revise it, mash it up. And then the last one is redistribution. So content can be shared with anyone else in its original or altered format. So you have the right to take the copies of the original content, your revisions, remixes, all of that stuff. Any questions so far? Okay. Nazreen, I just want to let you know that this session is being recorded. So what are some of the benefits of OER? Students can begin using materials on the first day of class. You don't have to worry about, oh, I didn't get my book in yet. I can't do my homework yet. Students are more likely to use the material and they are available anyway. A lot of studies have demonstrated that some students, if they cannot afford the book, will just try and go through the class without it. I'm not sure how that's even possible, but they do try. So if it's available and it's available anywhere, they're much more likely to use it. Faculty aren't limited to one text or one approach. You can mix it up by different chapters, or let's say that you find one book and you really like the way that they've done 90% of it, but you don't handle one particular aspect the way that they're doing it. That's fine. Just pick another chapter from a different book. That's one of the beauties of it, is that it's very adaptable to the way that you want to teach. It has a lot of available features. Not everybody realizes, but a lot of them will come with test banks or study materials. It's not only just the textbook. Alumni will still have access. This is a really nice one. A lot of times, if you're using one of the resources that Malloy offers, maybe a physical textbook that we have in the library or something in the ebook central collection, that's great. That will give you a lot of benefits, but alumni will not have access to it once they leave school. And it allows for a more equitable distribution of information. So it's not being held behind paywalls that will be a barrier to people who may be financially disenfranchised. So let's talk about some options and ideas. So the first one is to just straight up adopt an e-textbook. So this is fairly standard. I'm sure you all have adopted regular physical textbooks before, and it's not so different. You can also supplement a physical textbook. So let's say that you really have been using a textbook for several semesters and you like it and you just want to dip your toe into the water and test it out. You don't have to get rid of the book that you've already been using. Just put this as a supplement, as an addition. You could tell the students, if you're not understanding it the way that it is in our textbook, you might want to give this other book a shot and see if that will help you understand the material better. Like I said before, you can mix and match chapters. Or you could just pull some of the extras that they might have. You don't even need to use the full textbook. Another idea is to find materials in the Canvas Commons. So I'm in Canvas right now, and if I click on this little button right here, it looks like a C. It brings me to the Canvas Commons, and they have a tremendous amount of resources within here that's very nice and easy to quickly pull into your course pages. So this is one of the easiest ways of doing things. So I've done a very basic search here for the word anatomy, and it's coming up with courses and documents and modules that I can look at. And if I want, I can filter by all of these different things. So maybe I'm just interested, let's say I want a quiz. I could just click here, or if I could narrow it down by a different grade level. So I could just click right here and it will download it straight in there. Another option is to go to the OER LibGuide and course map. So this is kind of my baby. I've been working on this for a very long time at this point. So I'm at the library homepage, and if I come to LibGuides, then I can go down to faculty, and I can go to faculty resources. So faculty resources has a whole bunch of information that you all will find helpful here. I encourage you to look through all of the different tabs. Right now, we're going to be going to the OER and e-textbook tab, but there's a lot of information here. So in the OER LibGuide, first we start out telling you about OERs, the Canvas Commons. Again, we talk about some specific institutional collections. Here, Melissa Gebbia discusses the way that she uses it. She's a big fan of OER. Psychology in general has adopted a lot of OERs into their program, and so Melissa discusses how she uses it in some of her classes. There are some aggregators here. Some more info about OER. There's some individual works or discipline-specific resources. So I want you all to look through all of these. Here are some different publishers if you have something that you're interested in and want to publish it. And there's some OERs over here. For example, here is one on how to author open textbooks or how to modify textbooks. I'm going to scroll back up and I'm just going to go to the next page in the OER LibGuide, and that's the textbook resources course map. So specifically, this is what I have been working on. It's going to take a little minute to just load up here. So what I've been doing is I've been going through the course catalog for the college and trying to find works that I think may correlate with different courses. Now, ultimately, you all are the experts and you'll make those final determinations. I'm just trying to make it a little easier to find different things. So, for example, I know that Maureen teaches biology. So if we go over here, we see several of the different bio courses. I haven't finished with all of them, but I have several here. So let's say that somebody was teaching Bio 1100, basic human biology. You can see I have several different resources here, and you just click on the link and it will bring you straight to the resource. Now, these are specific OER titles. I also have been looking through, these are e-textbooks that are within ebook central or other e-platforms that are within the Malloy system. Again, these are good because they will be free, they will be available to your students, but they're not OER. They are behind a paywall, which means that when they leave college, they will not have access to those books. So that's the big difference here. But they're still, in my opinion, better than the ones that you have to pay for. We also do have a set of physical books here. So these are books that are specifically, we know have already been adopted for different courses. So I'm in nursing here. These are some of the heavy hitting books that are constantly being used every semester. They are physical books because we could not, they are not available as an ebook in any of our platforms. So then I will buy the physical book. Now with these, again, they're available to students the first day of class, but they have to come into the library in order to be able to use them. They are not allowed to take them out of the library, but we do have flatbed scanners here that they're more than welcome to use so that they can scan the books and read them at home. Oh, and then Wiley had gotten rid of some, so I just made a little section for that. And then the last one is OERs in foreign languages. So these are just some, this is just something that I'm just getting started on. But if you have a student who speaks, I guess at this point it's either Spanish or Polish, but I would like to get more languages in there, some of these may be helpful to them as well. There's also information here about Creative Commons licenses. So I'm not going to go too far into that, but there are lots of different licenses. When you download an OER, double check and see which license it comes with and what you're allowed to do with that particular resource or not be allowed to do. And then here is where you can find some information about seeing if we have your current textbook within eBook Central and some more information about eBook Central. And then this is some DEI ebooks and where how OER and DEI are connected. Does anyone have any questions about anything on the LibGuide? Okay. So next, I just want to talk a little bit about the OpenStax Institutional Partner Program. In 2019, I began the physical textbook collection. Before that time, we did not collect any textbooks at all. So in 2019, I began buying some of just the very most popular physical textbooks from mostly nursing classes or high index classes. And then 2020 happened, and the pandemic meant that all of the nice books that I had just bought for the library were no longer accessible to our students. So I had to quickly pivot, and the way that I pivoted was by joining the Institutional Partner Program at OpenStax. OpenStax is from Rice University. I am a little biased. I think that they have some of the best quality textbooks around. They also have a tremendous amount of features and some of those things that I was talking about, like test prep materials, test bank questions, vocabulary quizzes, all kinds of different resources that you can use. Because we are part of this partner program, they gave us a whole bunch of physical copies of their ebooks. So all of their ebooks are freely available on their website. But if a student in particular would prefer to have a physical copy, we have almost all of them in the library. And because I am a partner in this program, I have a contact there. We have a little bit more support from OpenStax. So if you have any questions or anything about any of their materials, please feel free to ask me, and I can always get you in touch with somebody there. And like I said, I'm a big proponent of their materials. I think that they're very good quality. I think, Maureen, you use one of their books, right?
Yeah, well, I've used when I was teaching anatomy and physiology. I used their anatomy and physiology book, and I thought it was very good. It was helpful because, as you say, the students don't always have the funds to purchase textbooks. And, anatomy and physiology, you have to really have something that you can learn from. So I found that very helpful to the students. The other thing is if they like to create these like uh, the flashcards, and they can make flashcards for themselves by, downloading the images from the textbook, and they have student resources. I like OpenStax a lot. I've looked at a couple of other, like the genetics textbook that's online, and have used some things from it. I think it's a great thing uh, to have in your pocket to keep your textbook, and then have an alternative that students who can't afford that textbook can actually use as a resource to help. I like that a lot.
And
Yeah.
Nazreen, she said that she's also using textbooks from OpenStax as well.
Yes, that's correct. I actually also teach anatomy, and I also use probably the same textbook, but it's absolutely amazing to not have to charge, well, not charge, but not have students go and purchase textbooks for this class. So it's good. But and it's very resourceful, the book itself.
Great to hear. Thank you.
I like the LibGuide, Susie, that
Oh,
you've
thanks.
created. And, I haven't had a chance to explore like the last couple of things that you mentioned at the end, like how to write for an online textbook. I think that will be, I think I'm going to look at that because I think that that's very valuable, especially I'm thinking in terms of genetics. Usually I don't order a laboratory manual for that. I create my own
Oh.
laboratory protocols and assignments. So if I could just have it as an online textbook, I think that would be great. I just never knew, I need some guidance in terms of how to really do that. So I'm going to head to your LibGuide about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have been I'm going to be meeting with Audrey next month to discuss this a little bit more, but that was one of the things that I was interested in. I've spoken with Judy about hosting OERs on in the digital commons. So it would be a very easy way for you to share it with your students. And then it's very easy for in general for us to publicize it. So that would be great. I would love if we could put a lab manual in there.
Yeah. Well, I have to put it together, synthesize it. So I
Yes,
have to
no rush, no rush.
I have to start, working on it. Yeah, that's great. That's good.
All right. So the other, oh yes, so Nazreen, I'm sorry. You have a question?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I missed it because I joined a little late, but or maybe you said it, but I just wanted to ask you a question about using OERs, and is there a difference in citation in case if, like, students are using, I don't know if this is a silly question, I'm sorry,
No,
but
no.
like when they have to like do a report, whatever, is there like a difference in citation? Or if we as faculty are using it to create a lab manual, to create something else, like you said, we can, use all these open, like they're there for us to use. What is the citation difference, or is there any?
That's a great question that I've never been asked before. Citations are not my expertise. As far as I know, it should not be any different because these materials should be treated the same. However, I am going to just double check with the writing center to make sure that I'm giving you the correct information. As far
Sure.
as I know,
Yeah.
it's
The only reason why I was curious is because it is open information, and it's
mhm.
not like it's somebody's, well, it is somebody's intellectual property, but it's just not like it's not something that can be plagiarized because it's open. Do you get, do you know where I'm coming from? So
Well, yeah,
that's
I it still
Oh,
can be plagiarized
but
if
it
it's
can be
Yeah.
not.
plagiarized because it is somebody's property, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it's still it is out of copyright in the fact that you're don't need to get permission, but you're still, as I would tell a student, they still have to cite it. They still have to say
Right.
where they got the information
Gotcha.
from. So
Gotcha.
Okay.
I don't think that there's a difference in citation, but like I said, I'm just after our session, I'm just going to double check with the Writing Center and make sure that that's true.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Of
Thank you.
course. So I had mentioned before about eBook Central. This is not the only place where we have ebooks, but it is by far the largest. And it is where we tend to, if we buy a book, it mostly is going to end up in here. So this is, like I said, it's not as, I would put it one step below OERs because there is that boundary after students leave, but it is a really great resource. You would be surprised at the amount of materials that you will find in here, including textbooks for a lot of stuff that we've already adopted or that we've seen other faculty members already adopt. So definitely take a look in here. Uh, and course packs. I'm gonna age myself a little bit. When I was in school, I went to the new school, and the very first thing that they would tell us on the first day is that we had to go to the printer and we would get these course packs. Now it can all be done online, but it would be printed with, different articles, and that was how we would do it. We didn't have a standard textbook for most of the classes when I was in school. It was mostly by reading articles. And that's still a really great way of doing things. And so again, this can be a supplement or it could be instead of. Now, if you are going to do this, I would suggest using Leganto Reserves Plus, which is another system from the library. And if you're interested, we do have FPC sessions on that. It's a really great way to add articles into your Canvas page. I'm glad Maureen is giving me a thumbs up.
Excellent.
Um, so that's another way of doing things. Nesrin, did you have your hand up again?
No, I'm sorry. I forgot
Oh,
to
okay.
lower it back
Sorry,
up.
I didn't take it off, then that's my
Sorry.
fault.
Sorry.
Okay. Uh, um, all right. So, um, I just want to show you all where you can go for extra help. Obviously, my name is Susan Bloom. Feel free to email me about this or anything else. OER is kind of my baby, but I do teach and do other things as well. So if you have any questions, I'll show where you can go. Like I said, you could always email me, or you could click right here on faculty resources. This is the faculty home for you all on the library page. So I click here and you can see here's where you can request one-on-one appointments or in-person classes where you can purchase materials. And again, here is where you can find another place where you can find that faculty resource guide. Does anyone have any other questions?
I do.
Sure.
I just wanted to say all these lovely resources, where do you put them for the students? Do they all have to go in Leganto? Or is that only because you want a low accessibility score on your syllabus? Can you put them in the modules, but then what do you do?
So as far as, I mean, because it's an OER, it's yours to do with what you want, and you can do it
Okay,
how you want. So I have seen people download by different chapters and put them into different modules. You could do it that way. As you mentioned, Leganto will help you with your accessibility score, but it's not the only way. And I've seen people just do it where they just give somebody a link to the actual resource, and then the student has to manage it from there. That's fine as well.
okay. But I'm using a one textbook, and so I always put it in the Leganto,
Hmm.
but these other things you're mentioning, if you'll get a link when you, like if I find something in the OpenStax or something, they're going to give me a link that I give to the student.
Yes.
And
You
but
could,
You could, yeah, you could, can't you also download it as PDF?
yes, you can. You know what? I'm just gonna go to the Leganto homepage just so that we could take a look at it together. I mean, sorry, not Leganto, the OpenStax. You all can see this?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so here's OpenStax, and I'm just going to click on the very first book that I find. So now you could see here, there's a couple of different ways you could do it. I can download the PDF right here, which would be the
Okay.
full text. Or students, depending if they have a Kindle or they want to read on their phone or something and they have the Kindle app, they can do that here. Or I can look through and view it online. Oh, oops. And so here's the full text of the book. And you don't have to download anything if you don't want to. Or you could give them individual links to these particular sections.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can download the whole book as a PDF. Okay.
Yes, yes, if you would like to, that's not a problem.
Or specific chapters. Okay.
Right. And the nice thing about downloading the full book is that it would give you in perpetuity.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, I'm always happy to help. If you need to, you can reach out to me or any of the librarians on our team.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you
Sue.
so
You
much.
appreciate.
Thank
You
you.
always learn something new from your talks.
Oh,
Always.
thank you.
Good. Have a great day, everyone.
You too.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you. Have a great day.
Bye now. Yep. Bye.